What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Run It Up podcast here on the Blue Wire Podcast Network and Blue Wire Hustle. I don't know why the camera just got so close.
Every time.
I hate when it does that because it was actually looking good until now, but whatever. Um, Welcome back to the pod, my boy.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
got
yep.
we got Justice today. Justice Gregory. You know where to find him on Twitter, but if you don't, it is
Justice Reed too.
boom. You can find me at Najee Adams _. Make sure you leave a rating and review on the pod on Apple Podcasts. Download on Spotify. Share with your family and friends. Follow the pod on Twitter at Run It Up Pod. Today, we're talking about some fantasy football week 3. We got a little action-packed episode. We're going to get into 3 guys we were both wrong about so far when it comes to fantasy football, but that's not all. We also are going to talk about 3 guys we're trading for, 3 guys we're trading away, some early waivers, because I did it last week, and I swear to you, bro, damn near everybody I said was hitting. And then one bold prediction at each position this week. And then I'm gonna just kind of give Justice a few player debates at running back and receiver, because at QB you kind of know how it's going to shape out. Tight end, it's basically just all shit show outside of Darren Waller and
Five.
Travis Kelce
Five of
and
them.
TJ
There's 5 of
Hawkinson
them.
and George Kittle. Who's the 5th?
Nah. There's only 5. We'll get into it later. I got it. I got it
All right,
ready to go.
got you. So we can start it off. 3 guys we've been wrong about so far. Just let's keep in mind, it's only been 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So the operative word here is so far.
Yeah.
This doesn't mean that we think they're busts. This just means they haven't started out as well as we thought they would. So you can go ahead and give me your first guy, bro.
Okay, so actually the third one was somebody that started off better than I thought he would. But anyways, all right, so my first one, I think the obvious answer is Calvin Ridley right now. I'm placing this off my own rankings. Naj knows, he's seen them. I did my own rankings this year, my own top 100. I don't know what made me do it. We talked about doing it together. Naj didn't follow through. per usual. Naj just didn't do it. So
No.
We just moved on.
Next year, bro. That's for next year. Next year we're gonna come out. We're gonna put it on Patreon. People finna pay for my rankings.
Okay, got it. All right. So Calvin Ridley, I had Calvin preseason ranked wide receiver number 2 for the season. I was high on him. I still am high on him. I think Matt Ryan just look old and dusty right now. But we'll see how that offense develops. But right now, Calvin Ridley's wide receiver 33. And half PPR. Everything I do is half PPR because the leagues I play in are half PPR. So that's how I develop my rankings as well. So all y'all who want to come at me. It's all right. We can talk. Number 2, Antonio Gibson, who I had at RB10. And we even talked about this when we did our mock draft episode, how I saw him being used in that McCaffrey role, especially with Ron Rivera. He's in his second year with him. Gets to develop and get more of that snap carry. The snaps and third down snaps are still going to J.D. McKissick, who is valuable in fantasy.
J.D. McKissick.
He was valuable in fantasy last year, and he's valuable in fantasy this year. J.D.'s a great flex play on some weeks, just matchup to matchup. You just got to know who's going to keep them from moving the chains. But it is what it is. JD's good. It's like I'm not mad at it. Like JD's good, but Gibson right now is RB29. I still think he finishes in the top 15. And I still think Ridley finishes in the top 5. So like I'm not that down on those guys. And then my third one, somebody I was super, super high on coming into the year, but just not as high as he's playing. I had Mike Williams at wide receiver 40. And we talked about this on a
40.
pod, I'm pretty sure. We talked about this on the pod, I'm pretty sure. Bro, let me pull up my rankings, bro, so you can see the names that were ahead of him, because I don't feel like it was disrespectful.
I don't feel like it was either. I think Mike Williams is a pretty popular breakout pick for people. Like, I think all of the mainstream fantasy sites and like outlets had Mike Williams as somebody that they were picking way earlier than like the average ADP was suggesting. And so
I drafted him and dropped him before week 1.
That's crazy.
That hurt my heart. Anyway, so the guys I had ahead of Mike Williams, just to put you in the echelon that I had him in, Will Fuller was the one right in front of him, then Brandon Cooks, Juju, Devontae Smith, Deebo Samuel. So like I still had him up there with some good receivers, like reliable fantasy options. Right now, he's wide receiver 7. Mm-hmm. So, and I think he still finishes in the top 15. I'm being dead serious. They look to him often.
I think they have the passing volume, and Justin Herbert's a well enough quarterback to sustain two top 15 guys, but I don't think that Mike Williams is going to finish ahead of Keenan Allen. And so,
No, me either. I think he's going to fall behind in that, especially when comp into the season, guys start getting a feel for what they're doing. It gets harder out there. There's two teams that I think can have two top 15 wide receivers: Cowboys and the Chargers.
Yeah, so, no, I'm with you on that. I low key the Seahawks might, bro. The way
Lockett does
Tyler
this
Lockett,
every year, bro. He does this every year.
Nah, he's the wide receiver 1 right now by
for sure. That's why I sold.
Him and Cooper Kupp are neck and neck, and they're about like 12 points ahead of everyone else. Like,
hey, Naj, can I throw something at you real quick, bro?
Of course.
Just a random stat, because we have talked about this on a pod back when I was in my parents' basement waiting to move into my crib. There was a debate we had. Okay, it wasn't like that. It was just between. I was waiting for the house to open. Let's not make it seem like I was just in the parents' basement as a 24-year-old. So we had this, and I've been waiting to burn you up with this, but I had to wait because you was late, 30 minutes.
So we driving in rain here in New York.
I said pretty clearly that I think Terry McLaurin's the best receiver from his draft class. You were very on the DK side, and you ranked AJ ahead of him.
Think both of them are still better than him.
Hear me out. You ready? Terry McLaurin has had 10 quarterbacks.
10 different QBs.
Let me finish. Let me finish the whole stat. Has 10 QB changes in his first 31 games. He has 2,200 yards and 12 touchdowns. Michael Thomas, who has the record for the most receiving yards through a player's first 4 seasons, 5,500 yards. He had 2,300 yards and 14 touchdowns through his first 31 games with just Drew Brees. So to get this straight, Terry McLaurin has played with 10 quarterbacks and is what? 100 yards and 2 touchdowns off of the record.
So what do you want? You want a round of applause? You want me to say, "Ooh, what can do, Terry McLaurin? He's nice.
The best receiver from that class. He's already a top 5 receiver in the NFL."
Okay, you're absolutely insane.
I promise you.
You think he's top 5? Come on, promise you. Stop.
There's more than just raw
who's
numbers.
better? Who's better, Justin Jefferson or Terry McLaurin?
I'm taking Terry McLaurin every time.
You're insane.
Every time. Every time.
You're out of your mind, bro.
He's so much better rack too, bro.
It's
not even close.
Your mind, my boy.
You're disgusting. You're
all right, so let
you're just gross.
Let me give you my 3 that I've been wrong about. My 3 that I've been wrong about. Number 1, It's pretty self-explanatory. Najee Harris. 1, we've got the same name, so that already got me hyped about him. 2, I started doing research. Thought he was. Let me just get into it. I thought Najee was going to come out the gates. I didn't think his first matchup was going to be that great. I thought he was going to demolish the Raiders, though. That didn't happen. If he didn't catch that receiving touchdown, things would have looked much, much worse than they do right now. So through 2 weeks, he's the RB22. He's averaging 3.2 yards per carry, and that Steelers offense looks absolutely, positively atrocious. I didn't think they'd look great, though. Like, I didn't think they'd be this next level, out of this world offense. I didn't care what they were talking about during the offseason. I did not think Big Ben had it in him to sustain that good of an offense. But I did think that because of that, Najee would get way more touches than he has so far, and that just hasn't been the case. He's got a total of 32 touches through 2 weeks, which is the 17th most in the league right now from running backs, and he's averaging 16 per game, which when you pace it out, it equals about 224 touches. It's what he's on pace for. That's way, way lower than I had thought. If Najee has 224 touches, he's probably not finishing as a top 20 running back.
He's getting Mike Davis touches.
That's what I'm saying. He's not finishes top 20. The thing is, I don't think that he's going to keep getting 10 carries a game, 16 touches a game. I think that by the end of the year, he still might, I don't know if 300 is attainable anymore, but high 200s, 270, 280.
So he's got what? We're just talking about fantasy football here. He's got one other fantasy option on his team who's dependable. Deontay. Who's actually pretty solid.
I mean, Claypool is pretty. They just throw him moss balls, which
that's all they use him for.
They just throw it up, and he has the most air yards in the league, or he's top 5 in air yards.
AJ Brown's number 1.
Yeah, I think Claypool's top 5. I can tell you right now, I have it literally.
And air yards completed or attempted?
No, just attempted air yards.
That's AJ Brown, isn't it? 35% of his team's air yards
right now. So. Right now, in just pure air yards, Cortland Sutton is first.
My
Teddy,
boy.
Teddy Bridgewater be humming that thing. Brandon Cooks is second. Third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. Chase Claypool is eighth. AJ Brown is ninth. So both of them, clearly, Chase Claypool, they just hum that thing up to him. But
real quick, I think that what I had wrong was the percentage of air yards on their roster, because I think AJ at 35% is leading the NFL. But
like on the Titans,
yeah, they be pounding that thing though. 40 carries.
That's crazy. That's crazy. They just hand it off and he just drags three people. Like, it's whatever. But regardless, I was wrong on Naji Harris so far. But the good news is he's getting 96.4% of the team's running back snaps. That's first among running backs in the entire league. 94.4% of the opportunity share, first amongst running backs in the entire league. 55 routes run in 2 games, second amongst running backs.
They disrespecting Benny Snell, bro. They gotta put him out there.
Benny Snell is trash. The only running back to run more routes out of the backfield than Najee Harris so far, I believe, is Deandre Swift. 27.6 dominator rating, which is the 9th highest. That means that it's a running back's total percentage of team yards and touchdowns generated on offense, which means he's probably their best offensive option. And outside of that, he's running against stacked boxes 30.8% of the time, which is the 9th highest amongst running backs. Will that change? I'm not sure, because
they're going to keep bringing that pressure on old Benny.
So. They don't trust Big Ben to beat them deep because they don't think he has the arm. I don't think he has the arm. I do the same exact thing. The thing is, though, he has the best schedule amongst fantasy running backs throughout the rest of the season. He plays the Chargers, the Packers, the Lions, the Bengals, the Titans, all teams that give up a crap ton of running back yards to the running back. So I think better days are ahead for Najee Harris. If you can go trade for him, I would go do it. And I'm not just saying that because we have the same name. Another guy I was wrong on, Deandre Swift. I was not very high on Deandre Swift coming into the season. I bought into the fact that they were going to use Jamal Williams and that was going to take away from his production. Turns out they used Jamal. I think both Jamal Williams and Deandre Swift are top 10 running backs throughout the first 2 weeks of the season. They used them both. They both produce a crap ton of points, and it just turns out that no receiver on this team is valuable except Quintez Cephas, but I don't actually believe that that's a thing. So through 2 weeks, Deandre Swift is number 1 in targets at the running back position. He has 16. He's number 2 in receiving yards, 106, number 2 in receptions with 12. Like, he's the number 6 running back on the season, the number 1 running back in routes run. Like, they utilize him an insane amount. He has an 18% target share, which is crazy for a running back. And that's 4th amongst running backs right now. Like, he's just been super, super efficient. He's 2nd in yards created per touch, 3rd in pure yards created. Like, he's just been super good. Like, bottom line, he has been an incredible running back. And regardless of whether or not the Lions are trash, and they are indeed trash, I think Deandre Swift is going to produce with or without Jamal Williams in the lineup. So I was wrong on him. Odds are you can't go get him. So you're not going to be able to trade for him because the Swift owner is not going to give him up. But that is someone I was wrong on. And I don't think that it's going to correct itself. I think Deandre Swift might honestly finish the season as a top 12 back and be an RB1. I don't think Jamal Williams is going to finish there, but we'll see what happens.
He slid in our draft too, bro. Deandre Swift straight slid in our draft.
I feel like he slid in a lot.
Well, because I went Zeke in round 1, and then I went DK on the turn. I think Swift was there for me in round 3, but I can't remember who. I couldn't pass Kyler. I just couldn't do it.
No, he was my MVP pick this season. So
he's mine. He was my MVP pick last season too. So
I think my MVP pick last season was Russ, but I low-key always pick Russ because I'm a Seahawks fan, and he's always the first half of the year MVP and just never ends it out well. But
I put my stake in Kyler last year because Cam was kind of on the tail end. That's been my favorite player my whole life, and I said Kyler's my next favorite player, but the Panthers are still my favorite team, but Kyler's and Justin Fields, they have my heart. So
I feel that. Kind of speaking of the Panthers, they're currently playing the Texans, and the last guy that I was wrong about was on the Texans. His name is none other than Brandon Cooks. So I was under the impression that the Texans would be trash and that it wouldn't matter having their number 1 receiver because who's throwing him the ball. I didn't believe in Tyrod Taylor. Now, Tyrod Taylor's no longer there, but I don't know the exact numbers, but even with Davis Mills through the first half of this Panthers Texans game, Brandon Cooks had like 60 receiving yards. So like I don't really think it matters. Like targets are targets, and I should have got that through my head. I won't make that mistake again. But Brandon Cooks right now, I believe, is the wide receiver 11. I don't know if I'm ready to say he's going to finish as a wide receiver 1 because right now guys like Chris Godwin are behind him, CeeDee Lamb's behind him, DJ Moore, Terry McLaurin, Mike Evans, T. Higgins, Keenan Allen. Like I think all those guys are still going to finish above him. What's up?
Outside of 2019, where he got the concussion, Brandon Cooks has been a top 16 fantasy wide receiver every year.
And I knew that coming into the season. I've seen that stat, but I just didn't think that was going to matter on the Texans.
Me
but
either.
like when you look at Brandon Cooks' metrics, like he's third in target share. He has a 35% target share. That's crazy. No matter how you put it, that's crazy. 35% target share, insane. And the Texans are going to be getting blown out. They're going to be losing. So they're going to be throwing that thing regardless. Fifth in targets with 21. Ninth in air yards, second in air yard share. He gets 55% of his team's air yards. What? He gets over half of his team's air yards. That's insane. A 53.8% target rate, which is number 1 amongst all receivers. 4 deep targets, which I don't know exactly what the distance is that they consider
probably
a deep
plus
target.
20, right?
Probably plus 20. He's 8th in that. He's 5th in receiving yards, 3rd in completed air yards. Like he's just 3rd in yards per route run, like 1st in expected points added to the team, like 5th in fantasy points per route run. Like every single stat that you can look at proves why Brandon Cooks will be good this season. And yet there's still something that's telling me it's a fluke. And I don't know why. Maybe I'm just wrong. I'll probably die on this hill, but I'm selling Brandon Cooks. I am. If you have Brandon Cooks and you can go to the Terry McLaurin owner and be like, yo, bro, Brandon Cooks, like combine some package where you get Terry McLaurin and you give away Brandon Cooks, I'm doing that. I don't know if I would take T. Higgins. I would before the season. I don't know if I would now. If you can get Mike Evans, maybe not after this explosion game, but week 1, if you could have got Mike Evans for Brandon Cooks, I would have done it. Let me just look at who's below him right now that I would trade him for. If somebody would trade you AJ Brown, who hasn't been great, I would trade him. I would trade for AJ Brown. I would trade for DK. He's the wide receiver 36 right now. Obviously, Calvin Ridley. I don't know if I would trade for that's probably about that. Obviously Allen Robinson. He's like the biggest buy low that you can get right now, especially with Justin Fields being inserted into the lineup. If you can trade Brandon Cooks for Allen Robinson, wipe your hands and do that in a heartbeat. But that's the third guy I was wrong on. Like I said, if I'm selling Brandon Cooks if you can, but kind of moving on to who we're trading for, who we're trading away. Give me some guys you're trading for, bro.
Number 1, and I've been making offers for him for a week. Still can't get him. Dude's pretty set on with this team, even though he's literally the worst team in the league, but I'm just going to let that go. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to help. I'm trying to give him some depth because he's a Saints fan. He got only Saints on his bench, and they're just not that good. So, if Kamara is not producing, who's going to? Anyways, the guy I've been trying to get from him is, I think, this year's version of Jonathan Taylor. Last year, I've been trying to get Javonte Williams. Very heavily. I think Melvin Gordon is 1, due for injury, 2, just due to work himself out of the backfield. Javonte looks extremely good every time he's on the field. I like the way that Broncos offense moves. We all know Teddy loves his running backs. I had Javonte preseason running back 23. And I genuinely think he finishes either in the 14 to 19 range. So I'm targeting Javonte Williams. Super, super heavy. Super heavy. Nobody wants to give them to me, but I'm trying my best. I'm doing all I can. And now, last week I offered this is before the Cortland Sutton blowout game. I offered him Cortland Sutton for Javonte straight up, and he said no. So,
would you still do that?
No,
you wouldn't.
Not with Judy out. And my wide receiver depth is, I have a bunch on my bench, but they haven't played yet. Fuller and Odell, I got to see what they look like.
But situation aside, like in a vacuum, would you trade Cortland Sutton for Javonte Williams?
Yeah, because
I don't know if I would.
running backs are just so hard to come by that are
I
productive.
feel that. Yeah.
And it's not that he's going to put up better fantasy numbers, but if I can get that from a running back that I can trust, you know what I'm saying, to give me 9 to 13, like that's why I drafted Mike Davis, who is going to give me 8 to 10. So, like on a bye week, he can come in and I'm not like completely screwed. So
your guy's Javonte Williams. I guess we'll just go back and forth kind of thing. My guy is my guy's Ezekiel Elliott. Obviously Allen Robinson too, but like I feel like everyone's saying that. Kind of a lot of people are saying Ezekiel Elliott too, but the reason for me is I feel like a lot of people are down on him. Everyone is seeing that stat that's like, oh, you haven't. Zeke hasn't rushed for 100 yards and a touchdown since 2019. Like, okay, he also played the majority of last season without Dak Prescott. So like, let's take that with a grain of salt. The other thing is I've seen people trade Tony Pollard for Zeke. I mean, like Zeke for Tony Pollard, straight up. Like that's crazy. So people are blowing the whole Tony Pollard thing out of proportion. I have Tony Pollard in my main league, so I want him to be nice, but not to this extent. Like Ezekiel Elliott is still playing 78.8% of the Cowboys snaps at running back, the fourth amongst all running backs. Like he's still very heavily involved in their offense. He's 12th in red zone touches. He has 6 to Tony Pollard's 2. Like he's their goal line back. He's their primary back. Tony Pollard has just been insanely efficient. Like he has PFF's #1 running back rushing score he's the #1 running back, has the highest rushing grade in the league according to PFF. Like,
bro, on tape, he might be better than Zeke.
He's been insanely efficient. There's no way he keeps.
But since he came in the league, he's been good. He's never not been good. He's just been behind Zeke, and I think he's going to stay behind Zeke. And I think they'll trade Zeke this year. After this season, I think he's done.
You think I don't think the Cowboys
too much money.
As long as they have Dak, I don't think they're trading Zeke. They're best friends, bro.
Speaking of Dak, with Dak for his career, Zeke, I don't know what it is now after these 2 weeks. He was averaging 19 fantasy points a game with Dak as his quarterback, and he was the RB4 amongst all leagues. So I mean, there's just upside there. There's nothing you could do. If I'm a Zeke owner, Naj is a Zeke owner in our keeper league, I think. You keep Zeke. If somebody's trying to buy low on Zeke, no, that price is still high.
Bro, I always forget that that's a keeper league, and that changes the trades so much. Like that changes the trades so much. The trade you offered, what was the trade you offered me? Do you remember? It was Justin. I have Justin Jefferson and Zeke. And I think you offered me Diggs and Carson.
Yeah, I did.
It was Diggs and Carson for Jefferson and Zeke. Now, like a smart fantasy owner, I told Justice to go F off because there's no way.
I've been willing and dealing in that league. So
you have been. I haven't made any trades in that league. Like that's probably like my 3rd league, but I'm gonna get active, bro. I'm 0-2 right now. Justice is also 0-2. So you're taking the fantasy advice from 2 guys who are 0-4 combined.
Okay, but you're taking fantasy advice from a guy who just wheeled deals where he has Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs, and AJ Brown as his 3 receivers. So
I mean, you're not wrong. I haven't made like a big trade. So the trade I made in my league, it was the week before the season started. I traded Jamal Williams and Mike Williams for Odell Beckham. Before week 1, everybody was saying, "Oh my God, Odell looks the best he's ever looked. Oh my God!" And everyone's like, "Oh my!" Like I was high on Mike Williams, but like I figured he'd get injured. I did not think they were going to use him how they're using him. And I have Keenan Allen. So I wasn't ever going to start both of them, right? Like I didn't ever think I would start both of them. And then Jamal Williams, like I said, I was low on Deandre Swift, but I was also low on Jamal Williams. Like I didn't think that backfield would be that productive. So if I can get Odell to put in my flex, why would I not do that? Turns out Mike Williams is a top 10 wide receiver. Jamal Williams is a top 10 running back, and Odell hasn't played yet. So I really got screwed out of that trade, but I think I'm going to end up winning it in the long run. I pray to God, starting this week against the Bears, but we'll get to that later.
I think I win my 12-man in the long run. I ain't even got to tell him about my team yet, but my team is filthy in my 12-man. Filthy. Kyler, Zeke, Mixon.
I feel like Kyler's going to be on a lot of championship teams this year.
Kyler, Zeke, Mixon, A.J. Brown, Deontay Johnson, Fant, Cortland Sutton, Mike Davis.
That's a 12-team league?
12-man league.
And did you say your team again?
Kyler.
I'm assuming you took him in the 5th.
3rd.
Okay. Is it super flex?
Nope.
You just took him in the 3rd?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Kyler, who
Ask
else?
me ask me if it's working out for me.
Shut up. Who's your running backs?
Zeke and Joe Mixon.
Ha.
I traded for Joe Mixon.
Okay. Who's your
I
receivers?
traded Chris Carson and Amari Cooper for Mixon and Deontay Johnson.
Yes, that's the thing. You tell me about that.
Yeah, you just don't respond in that group message. It's all right. And then,
Bro, I'll be busy, bro.
and then AJ Brown, I traded DK for AJ Brown straight up. Dude was low on AJ. I think AJ finishes higher than DK, so I did the deal. It is what it is. Cortland Sutton, I drafted. Mike Davis, I drafted. I drafted Odell. I drafted Fuller. I picked up Sterling Shepard. I picked up Osborne, and I drafted Jalen Hurts in the last round of the draft. And I'm going to use him as trade bait for somebody whose quarterback play has not been very good. So
I mean, you willing and dealing, my boy. But who's the second person you would trade for?
AJ Brown.
AJ Brown. Wow, what a transition.
People are selling low or selling low. Yeah, selling low. We're buying low.
They're buying. They're selling low.
They're selling low. We are buying low.
Yes.
So I guess DK is not really buying low. It's DK, but I just value AJ. I think the 35% of the air yards. Julio's at 21%, second place on their team. The play action stuff they're going to do, it just gets better from here. Tannehill really hasn't looked good yet. He'll settle in like he has the last 2 years. I think AJ is just a sure thing. And then the third guy, because I got to get it off, Noah Fant. Tight ends are slim.
Big Broncos guy here.
Tight ends are slim. There's 5 tight ends averaging 6 targets a game. Waller, Kelsey, Pitts, Hawkinson, and Noah Fant. Noah Fant is not hard to trade for. Tight ends are people usually make them kind of expendable. It's not a position where you can afford to lose that many points. I think Fant is good for 8 to 12. And I think there's going to be weeks where he has 16, 17 because he's going to get 2 tutty games. Obviously, Albert's kind of a threat because Albert's a big, fast tight end as well. But in terms of target share, they've both been on the field, and Fant holds it down. So
about tight ends. So if you're weak at tight end in your league, like let's say you waited very long to take a tight end. Let's say your tight end someone like Jared Cook or something like that. You were the guy who took Jawan Johnson or Adam Troutman or something like that.
Gross.
Go to who odds are someone did not take Gronk as their starter. So whoever has Gronk, go to that team and either get the guy they took as their starter or go get Gronk because they're looking to trade one of them.
Dude in our league is flexing Gronk.
No way he wants to do that. He's doing that he's not choosing to do that. He's doing that because he has to.
He sent a message in the group message and he said flexing your tight end is OP.
Not at all. No way. No way. If so, you telling me he wouldn't? I could come up with a nice little trade for Gronk right now, but like, would you trade? I don't know, Tyler Higbee and who can I say? Tyler Higbee and I don't know, who's a low-key running back? Tyler Higbee and Tim Patrick. Would you trade Tyler Higbee and Tim Patrick for Gronk?
Yeah.
Would you accept it if you were the Gronk owner?
Is he my second tight end?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So go get Gronk or go get the person they took as their starter because no way they're starting both of them. The second person I'm trading for is JJ. Talked about him earlier. Justin Jefferson, Minnesota Vikings. He is currently the wide receiver. It's not good. He's the wide receiver, not good at all. He is the wide receiver 30 right now. He's the wide receiver 30 right now. He's being drafted as a top 7 guy. So clearly, oh yeah, I definitely think he will be. Just kind of looking at the way the Vikings offense is going, he has 9 and 10 targets through the 2 games. I'm not that worried about KJ Osborne, and I like KJ Osborne. I think he's going to be better than most people are expecting him to be, but 9 and 10 targets through 2 games. He's 12th in air yards in the entire NFL and is first amongst Vikings wide receivers in air yards. He should have that touchdown from week 1 that got taken back from him. That should have been a touchdown. And so far, he's the wide receiver 30. I think you're going to see some positive regression when it comes to Justin Jefferson. Just like eventually the air yards are going to hit. And when I think of air yards and not hitting, I immediately think this season of Marquez Valdez-Scantling. He has like the third most air yards in the league. Aaron Rodgers hums that thing to him, and he has not been able to catch up, like just catch one yet. Eventually, when he does, it'll be good. But Justin Jefferson, air yards, go by Justin Jefferson if anyone is telling him.
I had him wide receiver 8 coming into the season. So
I didn't do my rankings, but I had him top 10. I had him top 7. I'm pretty high on JJ. And then last is DK Metcalf for me, another guy who has just severely underperformed and has just been overshadowed by Tyler Lockett. Right now, DK Metcalf he's the wide receiver 36. He was also being drafted as a top 10 guy. If anybody's selling DK, I would buy DK right now. When Tyler Lockett has just so happened to catch all of the deep passes, like he has 270 air yards to DK's 174. So about 100 more air yards. Their average depth of target isn't that different. Like Tyler Lockett's is 16.9, DK's is like 10.9, like
which is just stupid, by the way. 16 yards of target is just absolutely stupid.
Crazy. It's crazy. But five yards is all that is the difference between their average depth of target. And yet Tyler Lockett's the wide receiver 1 and DK Metcalf is the wide receiver 36. So I would go and buy DK Metcalf. There's going to be some more positive regression for him as well. You will see Tyler Lockett come back down to earth and DK Metcalf rise up. They're going to balance out. And you can go buy DK Metcalf if you're looking to get him. So who's kind of 3 guys you're trading away?
The 3 guys I'm trading away, number 1 is Robert Woods. Not because I don't think he has any fantasy value. I had him preseason wide receiver 15. Right now, he is wide receiver 42, and I honestly don't see a top 20 finish in his future. It's pretty obvious that Stafford favors Cooper Kupp, as we can see from the just absolute fantasy explosion that Cooper Kupp has experienced. Cooper Kupp is and always has been the better receiver between the two of them. So rightfully so, this is how it happened. I don't know why I fell for everybody else that ranked Robert Woods really high.
No, I was high on Robert Woods too.
I was with him.
I was just high on that offense. Like I was high on the Rams offense, and I still am. I just don't think that Robert Woods is going to live up to expectations. I think he'll be top 20, top 25. I don't know if he'll be. There were some people talking about him being top 12, top 15. Mm-hmm. I think that's out of the realm of possibility now.
So I had him preseason wide receiver 15, and I had Kupp wide receiver 21.
Ooh.
So hey, hold on now. Oh, I mean, crazy thing, I had Ayuk with the top 20 finish this year, and he's just been irrelevant. So
he's one of the biggest surprises.
I don't get it though, because I love Debo. I get it. Ayuk is far and away the most talented receiver on that team. He showed it last year. I mean, they're both great rack receivers. They're hard to bring down. They're elusive. I think Ayuk's just the more talented guy. I don't understand that. Why is he wide receiver 4 on their depth chart right now?
Because Shanahan is trying to prove a point.
Shanahan is just a joke, bro. Like, he really is. I mean, he's good. Don't get me wrong, but like, it's just a joke that this is. Fantasy owners can't depend on any 49ers player, and I'll take that to my grave.
No, that's true, 100%. Because like for Kyle Shanahan, it's not about and for every coach, it's not about fantasy. But Kyle Shanahan is willing to make a point, and when he makes that point, he's going to make it known. And and I said this on the last episode, like, do I think Brandon Ayuk is in the doghouse? Do I think he's actually 4th on their depth chart? No. I think Shanahan knows he's the most talented receiver on that roster. But he's willing to put him in the doghouse till week 8, till week 9, so that he's mentally strong and able to come out and kill week 10 on. All they care about is winning the chip. As long as Brandon Ayuk is a good receiver for them, when it matters, Shanahan did his job. For us, we need him to be good now. You feel me? Like,
people were spending 4th, 5th round picks on Ayuk, bro.
Yeah. People were taking Brandon Ayuk over T. Higgins over, like, it's crazy. People who would you rather have, Jamar Chase or Brandon Ayuk?
Before the season, I would have said Ayuk.
Now, Jamar Chase, Devonta Smith or Brandon Ayuk.
Devonta Smith.
Before the season, not so much.
That's
Antonio Brown. Like, there's so many people.
Yeah, I'm still not sold on AB.
I'd rather have AB over Ayuk right now.
Yeah, but I'm just saying there's too many options. I'm not.
I feel like
you just used 2 guys who were like valuable fantasy options. Then you went to Antonio Brown as like,
you don't think Antonio Brown's a value?
I think he's a solid flex, but I don't think he's a wide receiver 1 or 2 for anybody. Higgins is, and Jamar Chase is.
You're right. My first player that I'm trading away is So people are, I don't know, I don't know what it is about people and this particular man, but like they refuse, fantasy analysts, like your favorite guys, they refuse to just accept what has been shown. And I'm trading away, forgive me, everyone seems to love him, but Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I am trading him away, bro. I don't know what it is about fantasy analysts. They refuse to believe what the Chiefs are showing us, what Andy Reid is showing us. Everyone's like, oh my God, Andy Reid and running backs. He's not Jamal Charles. And when Jamal Charles was playing, they had guys like Alex Smith. Alex Smith is an above average quarterback. Alex Smith is not Patrick Mahomes. Let's stop. They're not throwing him screens like that. Why, if I'm Patrick Mahomes, if I'm the Kansas City Chiefs, why am I checking it down to Clyde Edwards-Helaire when I can throw the ball 10 yards down the field to Travis Kelce and he can make 40 yards out of it? Or I can throw the ball not 10 yards down the field on a slant to Tyreek Hill and he can make 90 yards out of it. Or I don't know, I can throw the ball 60 yards deep to Tyreek Hill and he can get a touchdown. Why am I checking it down to CEH? I don't need to. I get the draft capital that was used on Clyde Edwards-Helaire. That's great, but they're not going to use him the way that everybody seems to think that they are. Get off of the bandwagon now. Every single fantasy analyst is like, oh my God, CEH, CEH, CEH. He's not that guy. He's not.
True.
Not on this team, at least. Maybe on another team, but not on this iteration of the Kansas City Chiefs. They have showed us for a full season last year. He was a buy low all of last year. He's a buy low through the first 2 weeks of the season. At some point, take the buy away. He's just low. Like he's like no, like there's no like we have to. They've shown us what they're doing with him. He's not getting the goal line carries. The Chiefs have thrown like 8. He's like the 8% of the time they throw to the running back on the goal line. Like that's not happening. He's not. That's just not gonna rock. He's facing light fronts, which is the percentage of carries with 6 or fewer defenders in the box. He's facing that 63% of the time, and yet he is like, what is his yards per carry? Wait, hold on. Let me find this out because I'm pretty sure it's not good. He's averaging 89 rushing yards a game, which is the 23rd highest, even though he's facing a light box 63% of the time. He has 3 red zone touches and 0 goal line carries. Keep in mind, the Chiefs have scored the 3rd most points in the league so far, and yet he has 0 goal line carries. And what did I just say? 3 red zone touches? Like Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he just isn't that guy. Not right now. It's just he's getting 3.9 yards per touch. 3.3 yards per carry going against the light box 63% of the time? No way, bro. I'm
Okay.
trading away CEH.
So Clyde was number 2 on my guys I'm trading away. So I want to touch on it though. I did make a deal to acquire Clyde in one of my leagues, not as the main piece of the trade. I needed some running back depth. He's kind of a throw-in into the deal. I take him for running back depth. He's not starting, and he's not going to start until he proves to me that he's worthy of starting. But for running back depth, I take it. And to me, that's what he is right now. If he's one of your running back 1s or 2s, your fantasy league is done. You're not winning.
People were taking him in the 2nd and 3rd round.
If he is one of your RB 1s or 2, you are not winning your fantasy league. You have 0 chance. I apologize.
People were cool with going, oh, I'm gonna go Devontae Adams and Allen Robinson. Not who's the 2nd round wide receiver. I'm gonna go Devontae Adams and DK Metcalf, and then come around in the 3rd and take CEH as my running back 1.
What do you think Clyde's projected this week, bro?
Clyde
on ESPN. Do you think they projected him?
15.8 or something
13. Like that. Why? I don't get it. Why? Why? Know. They've got him projected more than David Montgomery. Why?
Because they can't get away from the Chiefs offense. They score so many points. That's great. They're scoring all those points, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire isn't getting a piece of the pie.
Nah, like, he ain't going to. They don't need him.
They don't. When you have Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill, they're not. And Patrick Mahomes, like, you're not checking down. And you don't need to throw him short passes because you got guys that can make something out of nothing regardless.
Who's the other running back on their team that caught a reception last week that I can't think of right now?
DJ Moore limps off the field. I'm so sorry.
Are you joking?
The notification just came up.
Dear God. Oh my God.
In Terrace Marshall, we trust. But
Fantasy stock just rose for him though.
that's
For
what I'm saying.
sure.
He's on my team for sure. But
Okay, so I'm just gonna go to my third because you did Clyde. This one I think is a hot take because I love this guy. He might be my favorite running back in the NFL. Talent wise, it's not his fault. I think his team is just bad and that offense is just bad. I'm trading away Jonathan Taylor.
you're trading away Jonathan Taylor.
Yep, I had him preseason RB7. Right now, he's RB27. And I don't think it's any fault of his own. A line that was supposed to be good has not looked good all year in pass protection or run. The receivers aren't good enough for them. He's the main focus of their offense. The receivers aren't good enough to really counter what he means to that team. I'm just gonna be honest with you, bro. I think you can get a good price for Jonathan Taylor. Am I saying sell low? No. I think you sell high because he's still viewed as a top 10 running back by most people. I think you can sell. I think he's going to end up in RB 15, 16. And I think that's where he floats, and I think you can get almost a wide receiver one for trading Jonathan Taylor.
And so that kind of brings us into the player debates, right? So I'm gonna go. There's a couple guys that I would like to know whether or not who you'd rather have on them. I'm gonna give you two guys, one being the main focus of it, and then kind of rotate guys in and out just to see where you're valuing guys. And like obviously I'm gonna give my input too and all that good stuff. So number one, the man himself, CEH, right? So would you rather have rest of the season, Clyde Edwards-Helaire or Jonathan Taylor?
Jonathan Taylor.
I would also rather have Jonathan Taylor. Like, I don't think it's that close. So that one I feel like is pretty easy. Clyde Edwards-Helaire or Ezekiel Elliott.
Zeke.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire or James Robinson. Yeah. Yeah, think about that one, my boy.
I'm going to go Clyde on that one, actually.
I would also go Clyde because Urban Meyer is a madman and seems to love Carlos Hyde. Carlos Hyde is getting like the third down work, the 2-minute warning, like the 2-minute
whatever, man.
work. Like I don't know why, but I would take CEH or Josh Jacobs.
Jacobs is hurt,
but rest of the season.
But he's annually hurt. I would still probably lean Jacobs though.
I might lean CEH.
I think Jacobs is just a bigger part of that offense if he's healthy than Edwards-Helaire is.
I agree. I don't know. We haven't really seen them use Jacobs and Mitchell in a time that and that week one, Josh Jacobs didn't look good. Obviously, he was injured. He fell into the end zone twice, which saved his week, but he didn't look good. And Kenyon Drake was pretty involved. So I'm not sure if I might take
I like Kenyon Drake. So
I don't
not in fantasy. I'm just saying as a player, I think he's good.
Oh, yeah. And the last one for me, CH or the James Robinson of this year, kind of, sort of, Elijah Mitchell.
CEH.
I might take Elijah Mitchell.
That running back room is going to get healthy soon. Besides Mostert, their guys are coming back.
But even if they all come back, I feel like Elijah Mitchell's the 1A back.
I don't.
So who's their number one back?
Hasty?
No
yeah,
way.
I'm being dead serious.
No
I'm
way.
being dead serious.
No way. I think Elijah Mitchell. It's close for me though. Now, what I have thought coming into the season that CEH and someone I picked up off the waiver wire would be close. No, but it is close for me. I'm not sure who I would take. It's a toss up. I would, if someone offered me Elijah Mitchell for Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I'd probably take Clyde just because, like as much as I don't believe, like I kind of still believe. So it's like I would rather still have Clyde.
Yeah.
All right. So another guy who's like Clyde's on the down end. This guy's on the up end. Tony Pollard. Would you rather have Tony Pollard or Clyde?
Clyde.
I would also rather have Clyde. Tony Pollard or Kareem Hunt. Both kind of guys in the same situation.
Clyde. I'm still taking the team's clear RB1 just because volume is king.
So clearly you maybe need to turn your headphones up because I said Tony Pollard.
Oh, sorry. Tony Pollard.
You would take Pollard over Kareem Hunt?
Yeah.
Would you have done that coming into the season?
No, he didn't get drafted in our league. So
what's changed for you?
Just the way they're using him. I mean, week 2 was, I don't think, an indicator of how the whole season plays out, but he's obviously a part of their game plan. I think they're going to use him for just a lot of abnormal touches, those plays that you don't expect to see every week. And I think he gets some good end zone touches out of that. I think he gets in the end zone a couple times. I like him as a receiving back. I like him on the ground. I mean, and I think even if Chubb and who are we talking about? And if Chubb and Zeke were both to get hurt, bro, and they were both the RB1, I think I would take Pollard.
I feel that. All right, Tony Pollard, and someone that you were personally high on coming into the season that I was not high on, Mr. Myles Gaskin.
Myles Gaskin slid in my rankings.
You were pretty high. I have text messages of you telling me.
But I changed it though.
That
when we did our pod though, I took that back.
Let me get it off. That he would finish above Naji Harris. I had text, but did we not bet money on that?
That was preseason, bro. That was way before even before preseason.
I think we put bread on that though.
But that's before I knew they were going to do running back by committee. They're running with 3 backs now.
Nah, we shook. We virtually shook.
If he was the clear RB1, if you can still have the bread, I don't care. I'm a man's shake is a man's shake. I'm just saying, if he was the clear RB1, he would have finished ahead of Najee.
I don't think so. I don't. Hopefully, we'll see what happens next year. Something.
Okay,
like that.
So what's the question? Pollard or Myles Gaskin?
Pollard or Myles Gaskin?
Pollard.
I would. I don't know. I would probably lean Pollard. Pollard or Chase Edmonds?
Chase Edmonds, easily.
Easily. I don't know about easily.
That's a guy I was really high on coming into it. That I made that note on the pod. I almost put him as I was wrong. I had him at preseason RB23, and he's at RB22 right now. So,
okay. You might have convinced me. Maybe I would take Edmonds over Pollard. And then lastly, Tony Pollard or Melvin Gordon. Rest of the season.
Probably Tony Pollard.
I would also probably lean Tony Pollard because I think Tony Pollard's role in that offense is set. I think there's a realm where Javonte Williams is their like full-time back.
Week 6 on, I'm telling you.
I think that's in their own possibilities. Kind of moving on a receiver, which I feel like is way more like up in the air. Calvin Ridley. Would you rather have rest of the season, Calvin Ridley or Terry McLaurin?
Calvin Ridley.
Oh, are you telling me Terry McLaurin is not the best receiver in the league? Is that what you're trying to tell me right now?
He's not.
So who's a better receiver, Calvin Ridley or Terry McLaurin? Because you said he was top 5, so I would like to know.
I would probably lean Terry's the better football player.
You're insane. Yo.
Why am I insane? Like y'all just don't consider circumstances at all.
This kid is different. All right, Calvin Ridley or Mike Evans rest of the season?
Ridley.
Calvin Ridley or Cooper Kupp rest of the season?
Cooper Kupp.
So you think Cooper Kupp's going to finish above Calvin Ridley?
I think Cooper Kupp finishes top 5.
Okay. I would probably still take Ridley. Calvin Ridley or Cortland Sutton?
Calvin Ridley.
Calvin Ridley or Deebo Samuel?
Calvin Ridley.
Okay. And then Robert Woods is the last guy. Woods, rest of the season. Robert Woods or T. Higgins?
T. Higgins, easy, not even close.
I would take T2. He has a 28% target share in
not even close
offense. He's the wide receiver 1. As much as people want the Jamar Chase wide receiver 1 thing to happen, not happening this year, buddy. T. Higgins is their wide receiver 1.
T. Higgins is so good, bro.
I can't wait till they change this number to 5. I hate the 85.
I wish he was good on Madden.
Yeah, he's just slow.
Everybody's slow.
Robert Woods or Odell Beckham Jr.?
That's so hard because I haven't seen Odell play. But I would probably. I mean, Odell averages 6 targets a game in his tenure with the Browns, so I'd probably still lean Robert Woods. I think he can get to that 7 to 8 range still. So
I might take Odell. Am I crazy for that? But I kind of I don't.
I mean,
know.
the talent is not close. But
I don't know what it is about me, but I'm always there for the upside, and I don't know, bro. Odell could miss 2 games if he plays rest of the season. I think he gets over 1,000 yards.
Ooh, that's hot. I like it.
I think he does. I think Odell gets over 1,000 yards if he plays. If he doesn't miss another game, I think he gets over 1,000 yards.
Well, that's gonna be a phenomenal flex for me, then.
Hey, me too. Robert Woods, rest of the season, or Brandon Cooks?
Oh, Brandon Cooks.
I might also say Brandon Cooks too. Robert Woods or Corey Davis.
Corey Davis.
I would probably still take Robert Woods. I
See,
don't trust. I
Jets
don't
are going to be
trust
playing
Zach
from
Wilson.
behind.
I don't trust Zach Wilson. I'm sorry.
The volume is king. I think Corey Davis gets 11 targets a game.
We saw what happened when Bill Belichick shut them boys down, and I know every coach ain't Billy, but he might have just given the rest of the league.
Bill got a history with them rookie quarterbacks and making him look a fool, though.
He might have just given the rest of the league the blueprint. Is all I'm saying. Robert Woods or Antonio Brown.
Antonio Brown, I think.
I would probably still take Robert Woods.
I think I would. I mean, it's just so hard with that Bucs offense, bro, because there's so many options for Brady, and I think Brady is going to break the single season touchdown record this year.
I think he's going to break the yards record, right? But in Foxborough, when they play the Pats in Week 4, he's going to do them bad.
I think he's going to break the single season touchdown record, like for a whole season. Mm-hmm. So there's a chance he throws for 60. I'm being dead serious.
That's crazy. And then kind of lastly, Robert Woods or Mike Williams.
Let me go back and say Robert Woods over AB, and then Mike Williams over.
I would probably take Mike Williams too, as long as he doesn't get in. Like if I knew he was staying healthy, I would take Mike Williams, 100%. Those are kind of the player debates. I feel like there was some good ones in there because when I was going through it, I was like kind of iffy on some of them. And then lastly, well, two more things really. I'm gonna let you handle this one, bro, because my early waivers last week. Let me just tell you my early waivers last week, right? So last week, early waivers, I had handcuffs. Guys like Alex Collins, he didn't do great. Matt Breida, I don't even think he played. Larry Roundtree, he didn't do great. Tony Pollard, obviously, he went crazy. Tony Jones, Damian Williams, guys like that. Handcuffs are only useful if the guy ahead of them gets injured, in the exception of Tony Pollard.
Right.
I had Terrace Marshall. He didn't do great, but now I feel like he's an early waiver for this week. Tim Patrick, he did score a touchdown. I think he was first in routes run for the Broncos last week. And I think with Judy gone, he's definitely the wide receiver too. People keep wanting to make KJ Hamler happen. It's not going to happen. Tim Patrick is their wide receiver too. Cedric Wilson, he didn't do much. KJ Osborne, my boy, he went crazy. And then, that was kind of my early waivers for last week. What about you, bro?
Okay. Tim Patrick made a reappearance. I think he's good for another tutty. Judy's out. Sammy Watkins made an appearance. It's slim pickings out there at this point, I can't just be like, oh, pick up this guy. That's a steal. So, I mean, Sammy Watkins, I think target share, he's going to get 7 to 8 targets. Actually, it's kind of looked like by targets, their wide receiver 1 on a lot of plays. Looks like he's like their most sure-handed guy, and Lamar trusts him. Although Marquise has been good for fantasy for the first time in his career, so congrats to him. And then my other one was Quintez Cephas, who I think is only 30% owned, but target share, and I think he is their number 1 for the whole season.
I feel it. So before we get up out of here, I am going to ask you for a couple of positional players, but I did want to run one thing by you real quick. So a trade just got made in my league, and I want to know, like my main league, my 12 team, I want to know what you think of it. So it's by Hunter, my guy.
Yeah.
He traded Robert Woods, Antonio Gibson, and James White, and he received Javonte Williams, AJ Brown, and Chase Edmonds.
Somebody needs. I'm not a fan of vetoing. If you get fleeced, you get fleeced. He just fleeced the hell out of whoever that was, bro.
Okay.
How the hell did he get AJ Brown in that?
So because he gave up Gibson.
How the hell did he get AJ Brown in that?
So I think it's more even than you're saying.
No, he fleeced him.
Okay, I'm torn on it.
After week 6, Javonte Williams will put up Antonio Gibson production.
That's a hot take. That's a hot take. Okay, bet. All right, well, I would love to know if y'all are listening here. Please let me know.
Who are the third players? James White and who?
James White and Chase Edmonds.
Chase Edmonds is putting up 12 a game.
I mean, yeah, I think he wins to Chase Edmonds. So it's Chase Edmonds, James White, AJ Brown, Antonio Gibson, Robert Woods, Javonte Williams.
He won that trade easily. It's not even close.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see.
I can't even get him to respond to my trade offers in the keeper league. So you need to. I'm about to get on him. I have his number. I do have his number. I'm
Do
about
have
to
his
get
number.
on him.
Get on him, bro. He's always down to trade. And so, yeah, if y'all let me know what y'all think of Hunter's trade. Go ahead, tweet me out. He would love to know what your opinions are. so let me know. And then, kind of before we get up out of here, bro, give me one bold prediction of at each position of a guy you think is going to have a good week this week. So when they do, we can tweet it out and be like, listen to the Run It Up podcast, like I did about Julio last week. I said Julio's going to be top 10. He was 14 on the week. So that's all I'm saying.
Okay. Well, let me just say Julio's finish was purely because A.J. Brown had a weird game of dropping the ball. He looked like DK Metcalf.
I mean, if they counted that Julio touchdown, he would have been top 10.
I get that, but they were all capitalizations off of A.J. drops. So
hey, whose fault is that?
A.J., I'm just saying, that's not like a typical thing for A.J. It's more of a DK type of personality trait.
Trying to violate my man.
I've never seen somebody get hit in the chest and just drop the ball so many times.
Especially for a big body.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, it'll at least be sure-handed. All right, so the key word to what Naj just said is bold. Bold to me means sizzling hot. When it comes to this next one, Jacoby Brissette, who is, by the way, the best quarterback on the Dolphins. Tua is trash and will always be trash.
Oh, you're bugging. That you're out of your mind. Jacoby Brissett is the best QB on the Dolphins. All right.
I'm just trolling. I just hate Tua. I think he's not good.
I was about to say,
but Jacoby Brissett with a top 12 finish this week at quarterback. I don't know why. Just a weird feeling. I think he's going to get the ball to those guys. Devontae Parker, it might be a good play this week. Those vet guys who he's seen play that he trusts and has gotten to know around the league. I have running back Saquon with a little top 3 finish.
I need that.
I've tried to trade for Saquon in all of my leagues, have yet to succeed. Guys are trusting him, and I respect them for that because I think Saquon's going to be amazing.
So I'm 0-2 in my main league, the one that Hunter just made that trade in. My team: Aaron Rodgers, Naji Harris, Saquon Barkley, Keenan Allen, T. Higgins, Tyler Higbee. My flexes were Jerry Jeudy and who were my flexes? Jerry Jeudy and Odell. Jerry Jeudy and Odell were my flexes. Obviously, Jerry Jeudy went down. Odell hasn't played. I'm 0-2. So,
Jeudy was going to be great, though.
He was going to be so good. But, all right, continue.
At wide receiver, I think a guy who is one of my favorite receivers, one of the best route runners in the league, and I think there's going to be a couple plays where they trust this guy to get some deep shots to him. I think Fields is going to look at Darnell Mooney's way early and often.
I love Darnell Mooney.
Darnell Moody finished his top 20 this week for receivers. If you can flex him, flex him. That's just how I feel about it. And then at tight end, Kyle Pitts for the first time this year with a little top 3 finish. Not that hot. He gets the targets. I think he can finally just make something happen.
I feel those are all bold predictions, bro. You don't gotta say like Adam Troutman is gonna be a tight end 1. Like that's people just say shit like that to give impressions. But yeah. I don't have one at every position, but I just got a 2 quick little ones I throw in there. My hot take, my bold prediction: Baker Mayfield finishes as a top 7 QB. They're against the Bears this week. The Bears are coming off a win against the Bengals. They looked good against Joe Burrow. They did not look good against Matthew Stafford. What side of the spectrum is Baker Mayfield on? We don't know. But I think it's going to be a little get-right game for the Browns. Odell is back. I could see Baker Mayfield carving them up, going crazy. You feel me? So we're going to see what happens. Baker Mayfield top 7. Top 7. Baker Mayfield, lock it in. You feel me? And then my second one, my last one. We're going to get up out of here after this. Tyson Williams finishes as a top 15 running back. They're playing the Lions. I think Tyson Williams is a lot of work through the air. The Lions gave up 35 to the Packers. We already know what Aaron Jones did to them. They gave up like 41 to the 49ers. They have yet to give up less than 30 points. Like it's crazy. Tyson Williams is going to get his. I think he finishes as a top 15 running back this week. And with that, we're going to go ahead and get up on out of here. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Run It Up podcast. Make sure y'all follow Justice on Twitter at JusticeReed_. JusticeReed2. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at Naji_Adams_. Follow the pod at Run It Up Pod. Leave a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts. You feel me? I'm forgetting the outro.
I'm cutting in. I'm interrupting you like I do every episode for the outro. NBA preseason, the training camp on the way.
NBA preseason training camp on the way. 100%.
On the way.
I'm hyped.
We got an NBA little pod next week.
I'm hyped. I'm with it. Let's get it.
On top of a fantasy pod next week, we got a little.
Let's get it. Let's get it. I'm with it. I'm with it all.
Can you record 2 in a week? Probably not.
Nah, I definitely can, bro.
Okay.
Let's get it. Let's get 2 in a week. Let's run it up. Run it up, just like the name of the podcast. Make sure y'all share with your family and friends on Spotify. Hope y'all have a litty day, a litty night, a litty life. And just like we do on every episode of this podcast, make sure y'all go run it up. Run it up.